When you bring a thanks offering to Hashem, you should bring it willingly. Now it's interesting. As a Toda thanks offering, you bring an animal. In addition to the animal, you have 40 loaves of bread. 40 loaves of bread. 30 of them, all menachos, all meal offerings, are made of matzah. It's not leavened. However, the Toda offering, 10 of the 40 chalos are chometz, which is unusual. 30 are matzah. Matzah means not leavened. And 10 are chometz. This is the thanks offering. Now the question, why? Why is this the out of the ordinary type of mincha? Toda is a mincha, and the loaves are eaten by the Kohen, not by the Kohen. They're distributed among the people themselves, the participants. And there's another interesting. We spoke about kochim kalim, kochi kadoshim. You have the more advanced level of consecration. Like we spoke about the sin offering, the guilt offering. The amount of time you eat them is 2 days and a night. Shlomim is kochim kalim. Kochim kalim, the lesser level of consecration, as long as the Jew is not contaminated, he partakes of the korban. Toda is kochim kalim. It's not the more advanced level of consecration. And yet, the time period which you eat the Toda is the day it's brought and the night. It doesn't have the 2 days and the night. It has a much more limited time period that you're able to eat it, meaning the expiration period is sooner rather than later. The question is why. So there's a famous word from the commentators. What is a thanks offering? You give thanks, as the Gemara says in Brachos. There are 4 occasions you bring a thanks offering. A person who travels the high seas or travels a desert. You come back alive, give thanks to Hashem that you're alive. A person recovers from a serious illness, you bring a thanks offering. A person is Yosebis Asurim, a person is freed from prison, you come out alive, give a thanks offering to Hashem that you're alive. So these are the four occasions which one brings the Toda offering. So when you give a thanks offering, what are you actually saying? Thank you to Hashem. I don't attribute this to happenstance. This is not just a natural occurrence, but rather it's because Hashem intervened and allowed me to live because I could have died. So why am I alive? I'm alive, I'm attributing it to Hashem's rachmim. Otherwise I wouldn't be alive. When do you say thank you? You say thank you if you're a beneficiary of someone else's kindness or goodness. So it's an acknowledgement that when I survived the high seas, when I survived the desert, traversing the desert, when I recovered from the illness, or when I was released from prison, I came out alive, regardless of what the statistic is, the reason why I'm alive is because Hashem intervened and allowed me to be alive. That's the thank you. This, we want to publicize it. We want as many people as possibly involved in the process. So there's a negative commandment that you're not permitted to leave a korban beyond its expiration time. It's a lav, it's lo saseh, lo sasir menad boker. So if you have so many loaves of bread, as I said, 40 loaves of bread, 30 matzah, 10 chometz, plus the animal has to be eaten. Unless you have a lot of invitees, it's going to come to be no, sir. It's come to be left over. It's a negative commandment. So you're forced to invite multiples of people to make sure this korban is not going to be left over, which is a Torah violation. But why? So therefore the Torah gives a lesser period of time to eat it, so more people have to participate. As more people have to participate, Hashem's kindness, chesed, becomes public knowledge. That's the reason why the Torah gives it, although it's kachim kalim, it's lesser level of consecration, which normally has a 2-day and a night period. This kachim kalim here, Toda, is only the day and the night. That's the reason why it's a shorter period to be able to publicize it. This is the reason given. Now, the Medrash says that Losid Lovo, at the end of time, all karbanos will cease to be, except for Korban Toda, except for the thanks offering. Now the question is why? Why the thanks offering? First of all, there's another question which is asked. If all minochos, if all meal offerings are matzah, why is this the exception to the rule that 10 of the 40 loaves are chametz? Now, if a person goes and borrows money from you, and he's supposed to pay at a certain date, and he pays, do you say thank you? Thank you for paying me. Person gives you a gift, you say thank you. Person does something he didn't have to do for you, he says thank you. An employee works, and the Torah says you must pay his wages in time. Do you say thank you to your employer? There is no obligation to say thank you. You work, you give him something of value, he owes you the equivalent of whatever that value is. Thank you is something which doesn't have to be, and despite that it doesn't have to be, the person offers it to you. You say thank you. It's an acknowledgement you did something which you weren't obligated to do. Now, if a person is sin-free, why should you die? You traverse the desert. Why is there a reason that you shouldn't survive the desert? Why, if you travel the high seas, why shouldn't you survive that situation? You know what the answer is? There's no perfect tzaddik. So if a person's in a state of danger, there's always a level of prosecution. It's a kitruk. The kitruk, the prosecution can only be if there's what to prosecute. If a person's sin-free, the reason why I'm alive is because there's no reason for me to die. Because even with the kitruk, even if there should be prosecution, Hashem says there's no basis to prosecute this person. Because he said the answer is there's what to prosecute. So factually, you should have died because there's a basis to prosecute you. So why didn't I die? The reason why I didn't die, that's due to Hashem's kindness. Therefore, we give thanks to Hashem. So therefore, that's the reason why. That's the chometz. The chometz represents sin, right? That's the sitra achra. Why does a person sin? As we said many times, it's brought the Arizal, chometz, it rises, which is gaiva. It's tasty, which is desire. That's what chometz represents. We had the Gemara in Brachos, Rabbi Alexandri, when he concluded Shemon Esrei, he had his personal tefillah. He says, "Ritzoneinu lasus ritzoncha." Our will is to do your will, but why don't we do it? Sor shebiyisa ma'akev. It's the sor, it's the yeast in the dough which doesn't allow us to do it. But it's ritzoneinu lasus ritzoncha. So what does the chometz represent? It represents the liability or the imperfect record. So despite the imperfect record, Hashem allowed me to live. As a result of that, that's when we say thank you. We say thank you because based on the record, maybe you shouldn't have survived. So the reason why you did survive is purely due to Hashem's chesed, to his kindness. Therefore, we say thank you. We say thank you. Now, the Mishnah Chumash says, L'osed Lovo, at the end of time, all karbanos will cease to be except Korban Toda. So the question is why? Why the Korban Toda? So the Maral of Prague explains that today we have many questions. We say, Kishem vorchen al tov, kach vorchen al ra. As you acknowledge Hashem for good fortune, you have to acknowledge Hashem, even the God forbid, chas v'shalom, for tragedy. Why? He's dynamis. But factually, when good fortune happens, we say shechionu. When God forbid tragedy strikes, one says dynamis. But why do we say shechionu? Because the answer is because shechionu is only when we experience the positiveness of whatever that event is. There's a joy. Dynamis, although conceptually we know it's in our best interest, whatever happens, because Hashem is dainu emes. Ultimately, he's dainu emes, But factually, we don't internalize it to be able to experience the joy of the value of that. But at the end of time, everything will become absolutely clear. That even in retrospect, even the tragedies, even what we attribute to the natural, we will see and recognize it's Hashem's kindness. As a result of that, at the end of time, all we're going to say, thank you, unceasingly thank you.